Disclaimer: plain so is no confusion. This is not an instruction to break the law today. This is not a call to violence, theft, or outlawry under the current system. It is a hard look at what may be required if the system itself fails.
Disclaimer, spoken plainly so there is no confusion. This is not an instruction to break the law today. This is not a call to violence, theft, or outlawry under the current system. It is a hard look at what may be required if the system itself fails. Train legally, stockpile legally, scout and map, while the roads are still clear and the courts still function. The skills of the modern warrior and the knowledge of the ground exist for the day. The lights stay out, and the streets turn hostile. Not for starting that day yourself. The cities will burn. The only question is whether you will still be inside them when the flames reach your street, or whether you will have already mapped the exits, the allies, the hidden stores, and the hard skills that keep a person alive when the old world ends. The time to learn the rules is now, while the lights are still on and the roads are still clear.
Classmate for many years. After miles of conversation, he said, "You are still a lone wolf, aren't you?" I asked, "What do you mean?" Honestly, I know precisely what he meant. However, I allowed him to elaborate. I smiled as I watched him struggle to articulate, but I had a fair idea of his thoughts. We spent much time together as law students, and he would have had a pretty good idea of my personality. However, the researcher in me went to work to understand this personality type. The term lone wolf originally referred to a wild animal, like a wolf that lived and hunted alone rather than in a pack. When applied to a human being, it refers to an individual who prefers solitude and operates independently rather than actively seeking or participating in social groups or communities. I will not quite describe myself as such. Here are some characteristics commonly associated with a lone wolf personality. Some I can relate to for good reason. Independence. Lone wolves are self-reliant and often prefer to make decisions and solve problems independently. They value their autonomy and may resist authority or group dynamics restricting their freedom. I can also be a great team player. Lone wolves typically lean towards introversion, finding energy and solace in solitary activities. They may feel drained or overwhelmed by extensive social interactions and prefer to recharge alone. I appreciate alone time. I like certain activities like running alone. This is when I find solutions to challenges. Self-sufficiency. A lone wolf tends to rely on their skills and abilities to accomplish tasks or meet their needs. They are less inclined to seek help or assistance from others, even in challenging situations. Deep thinkers, lone wolves often spend significant time introspecting and reflecting on their thoughts and emotions. They may have a solid inner world and prefer contemplation over external distractions. Emotional reservation. Lone wolves might be guarded when expressing emotions or opening up to others. They may struggle to express vulnerabilities or seek emotional support from friends or family. My vulnerabilities are reserved for the trusted, limited social interactions. While not antisocial, lone wolves tend to have fewer social connections or maintain only a few close relationships. They may feel content with a small circle of trusted friends or even prefer spending most of their time in solitude. This is me. Individualistic pursuits. Lone wolves often have unique interests, passions, or hobbies they pursue independently. They may not conform to societal norms or trends and prefer to follow their path. I have permanently opted for the least traveled path. I sometimes need help to follow the crowd. Resilience. Lone wolves are accustomed to facing challenges alone, which can build resilience and self-reliance. They may be able to adapt to different situations and find solutions independently.
Listen carefully. When the lights go out and the cities begin to burn, the rules of ordinary life dissolve overnight. The grocery shelves that once seemed endless will empty in 3 days. The roads you trusted will become choke points of panic, and the neighbors you barely noticed will suddenly become either your greatest threat or your only allies. Preparation is not about stockpiling gadgets. It is about knowing your ground, hardening your body, and deciding who you will stand with when the old world ends. First, know your community as thoroughly as a general knows a battlefield. Drive every side street. Mark the quiet houses that keep to themselves and the ones that throw loud parties every weekend. Identify who has skills, mechanics, nurses, hunters, and who has nothing but desperation. In the first weeks of chaos, the greatest danger is not always the stranger. It is the person 2 doors down who never stored a single can of food and now believes your pantry is community property. Map the threats and the potential partners long before anyone else starts looking. When the stores fail, do not join the crowds fighting over the last bags of rice. Retail shelves were never designed for survival. They run on just-in-time delivery and hold only a few days of supply. Look instead to the places most people ignore, while the gates are still open and the cameras still work. The industrial edges, the quiet yards, the residual stocks that never reached the consumer floor. Scout them now. After the collapse, those same places will be held by whoever arrives first, with the will to keep them. While you still have freedom of movement, catalog every useful structure within reach. Concrete buildings with few windows become natural fortresses. Rooftops carrying solar panels offer power when the grid is gone. Public lands and nature reserves can provide game and water if you approach them with quiet weapons. A bow or crossbow draws far less attention than a rifle. Remember the simple ratio that separates the prepared from the desperate. It is 100 times easier to store food today than to hunt it tomorrow. A pantry filled in peacetime will outlast any sudden skill at trapping rabbits. Fuel is the next silent killer. Gas stations will die the moment electricity fails, and the pumps will become magnets for violence. Diesel remains usable longer and powers the heavy equipment still sitting on private lots and construction sites. Store it now, legally, while you can. Better to leave with a full tank before the crisis than to gamble your life for a few gallons afterward. When the time comes to leave, abandon the routes the apps recommend. Main roads will be parking lots of abandoned cars and desperate people. Move instead through residential backstreets, alleys, and the long corridors of train tracks. Circuitous paths that look inefficient on a map may be the only ones still open when the city is burning. But ground knowledge and supplies alone will not keep you alive. The soft hands and soft minds die first. You will not talk your way out of the next confrontation. You will not reason with the man who has decided your supplies belong to him. So learn the language that still works when words fail. You need both the offensive and the defensive. Learn to strike first when the threat is clear and closing. Learn to absorb, redirect, and survive when the blow is already coming. Hand-to-hand combat is the foundation. Empty hands, clinch, ground, whatever the distance forces on you. Then move to the tools. Firearms training until the weapon is an extension of your will, not a loud stick you hope works. Knife work until the blade feels natural in your grip. Sword training. If you can find a teacher who still remembers steel, it teaches timing, reach, and the cold calculus of edges that firearms sometimes make men forget. Train legally. Own what the law allows. Practice under qualified instruction while the ranges and dojos are still open. Understand this clearly. In the collapse, the law that once protected the weak will be the first thing that vanishes. You may find yourself forced outside the old structures entirely. Some will form tribes, tight groups bound by mutual survival, shared skills, and hard loyalty. Others will try the lone wolf path if they have the discipline, the endurance, and the willingness to stay invisible. Both paths demand the same foundation, the ability to defend what is yours, and when necessary, to take the initiative against those who would take it from you.